Well, hey there, pharmacy owners. I got a wonderful question from a member this week, and I thought it would share because many pharmacies, I think, are in the same position. So, the question I got from the member was, I'm fairly new pharmacy owner, less than 2 years old, and I have not signed up for any sort of reconciliation services. They've been kind of spot checking them and doing their own manually, but now they're getting busy enough that that just doesn't seem like a good use of their time, and they really haven't had time to do it. And so, what should they do for reconciliation services? This is a really great question because, one, do you need reconciliation services? Should you use the reconciliation service from your PSAO if you're contracted with the PSAO? If you're not contracted with the PSAO, like, who do you go to for reconciliation services? So let's go ahead and dive into reconciliation kind of talk and go through that. So for those of you might be thinking, what is reconciliation service? Let's just start with that. So reconciliation service is really all the things that you build and all the things you get paid for. And did you get paid for all the things that you built? Did you get the money that you deserve? And, if you bill 1,000 claims in a month, did you get paid for 1,000 claims in that month? And did you get paid what the computer said you were getting, supposed to get paid? So not only is it, did the claim get paid, but did you get the right amount? Did you get paid? Now, the right amount is only what's in your computer. It's not checking like, is it the right amount based on some sort of contract? So I just want to make that very clear. It's just making sure your computer says you should have gotten paid $25. Did you get paid $25 or did you get paid $22? Something like that. And so are reconciliation services needed? Yes and no, I will say. Don't hate me yet if you don't like that answer. But in general, yes, reconciliation services are fantastic. I have seen some pharmacy owners get in really big trouble really quickly because they weren't collecting on a large number of claims and they weren't reconciling those claims, and they did not realize until months had gone by and they couldn't pay their bills anymore. They were in a cash flow crisis seemingly all of a sudden. However, if they had been reconciling their claims, they would have noticed that chunk of claims not getting paid month over month over month. Now, why would claims not get paid? For all the craziest, silliest reasons out there. Checks get sent to the wrong address. Somebody updates your account with that particular insurer and something got typoed or something got changed. There's all kinds of, nonsensical ways. There's also like, maybe you got an audit and you never know you got audited and they ruled against you because you didn't respond and now they're taking money out. Those kinds of things. Like there's some very legitimate and non-legitimate reasons of why you may not getting paid. Now, I know many pharmacies have survived for many, many years, if not decades, without ever reconciling a claim. And that's okay. However, it's kind of like one of those things, like tsunamis don't happen all the time, but you put tsunami warnings out in the ocean because when it does happen, it's devastating. And so that's kind of what reconciliation services is most of the time, there's nothing wrong that's going to happen. You're collecting the claims that you should be, you're getting the amount that you should be, and all is hunky-dory until it's not. And when it's not, it's usually a significant amount of money that will put you in jeopardy very, very quickly. So, what do you do for reconciliation services? So for those of you that contract with the PSAO, most PSAOs include reconciliation services as a part of the fees that you pay to them. Now, those reconciliation services might be in-house, meaning they're doing them. They might contract with another company that's doing it. It can be either way. And there's some people say, well, I get all my 835s, directly into my computer. That's perfect, but not every PBM, not every payer is going to do those electronic files. Those might take care of 90% of your claims or 95% of your claims. And frankly, the ones that usually get messed up that I've seen are like the small little payers where maybe there's like a local group that pays and they send you a check in the mail every month and all of a sudden that check doesn't come. And so, the electronic 835s can be helpful, and you can do some reconciliation services certainly with that. It gets downloaded into your PMS system. Most PMS systems have some sort of reconciliation function, and you can do it that way. I would just put a caveat on that whatever the computer doesn't do needs to make sure to be manually done in some way, shape, or form. It will take care of the chunk of the claims, but usually there's always some kind of leftover that will need some manual doing. Now, if you're not part of a PSAO, which I highly recommend, going direct with your contracts and not using a PSAO, then you might want to look for third-party reconciliation companies. And there are many of them out there. And what I would suggest, I don't think there's one best one. This is kind of one of those things where they're all a little bit different. They all work in different ways. They have different levels of service. So I think it's important that you talk to them and just figure out what's going to work best for you and your pharmacy and however you operate your pharmacy. So the three that I recommend most often is Inmar, ProviderPay, and NetRx. And there's, like I said, there's others out there. So, but at least call them, talk to them, figure out what services they provide. How aggressive are they? So if you are missing a payment, something's not lining up correctly, do they just tell you? They like send you an email and be like, hey, you need to go take care of this. Do they take care of it themselves? What level of service do you want? Those are all some important factors. So I think a lot of that information, just calling up, talking to these companies, figuring out what's out there is going to be a great way for you to make the best decision for your pharmacy. So reconciliation services, I do think you should have. It's almost like insurance, honestly, if you want to think of it a little bit that way. You're getting this reconciliation service, you're paying for this reconciliation service, and most of the time, it's not really going to do much for you. However, when that one time happens or something dramatic happens and you start missing payments, it is going to be worth its weight in gold. It will be very much worth it. So very much like tsunami warnings, there's not many tsunamis, but you know that they're gonna come at some point. So you get the warning. So you get that early warning. You can get prepared. Exact same time of thing of reconciliation. At some point, a pharmacy will have some sort of payment problem. So you have the reconciliation service so you can catch it at the very beginning before it hopefully becomes a big problem. So that's kind of my reconciliation services talk. If you have any questions, feel free to submit your questions to drlisafoss.com. If you found this information valuable, I would super appreciate it if you shared it with other pharmacy owners. I'm just out here trying to help pharmacy owners and save independent pharmacy. I do think that independent pharmacies, you can thrive, not just survive. We like to go beyond surviving into thriving. And you guys just provide the most awesome care to your patients, and you deserve to stay in business just as much as all the other companies that provide great services. So there's a way to do it. We just got to do it a little bit differently nowadays than we had to in the past. So I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Bye-bye.